Hello, everyone. Hopefully, you guys can see and hear me. I'm trying to go live on TikTok at the same time. I'm trying to literally kill two birds with one stone. So, can somebody please let me know if you can see and hear me okay? I don't know if the comments are going to come through or not. Hopefully, it does look like I'm live. Right, I've got some eyes on. Okay. I'm not going to go live on TikTok until I actually know this is working. Hey, Jake. Good. Oh, and I can see the comments. That's really, really good. Okay, so that's good to know. No, honestly, I'm gonna press the TikTok live button right now and actually see what happens. And I'm a bit scared, so I'm going to be looking at different screens, and you can see like a really dodgy background. You can see like I'm selling stuff in the background. So there we go. I just changed that a little bit. Hi everyone. Hi Gemma. Hi Jake. Hi April. Good to see everybody. This feels weird. It feels like I'm in like a multi-channel kind of thing. Right. Shall I press the live button? Shall I do it? Do you dare me? Do you dare me just to see what happens? Hi Emma. Good to see you. I'm a bit scared. I'm a bit scared to press it. And then we'll crack on talking about the realities of Amazon over the next. Do it. Do it. Okay, let's just do it. I'm going to do it. I don't know what happens. Now I feel like I can't say anything. Right, so apparently I've gone live on TikTok. I'm live on somewhere else as well. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or not, because apparently on TikTok you can cut out allegedly. But if you are watching on TikTok, come and see. Jake's joined on there as well, which is good. I'm old enough today, definitely. Hi Giles, good to see you. Oh, we got some people. Hello. Hi guys. Hi guys. This is really exciting. I've managed to fix it. So I'm actually live on two places. So I'm going to have to, oh my God, I don't know if I can handle this. Morag said sketchy signal on the train. Well, good to have you here with us anyway, Morag. So stay signaled as long as you can. So I'm going to try and figure out my setup a bit better. So it feels like I'm not talking to you guys and then talking to you guys. So today is just really about a test anyway. So I didn't know I was going to be able to go live until a little bit. Can I unblock you? Well, have I blocked you? I didn't know I'd blocked anyone. Honestly, I'm just not the blocky kind. I didn't know I had. People are sending hearts. That's good. I literally know nothing. I've pressed the button and people should not put me in charge of being able to press a button, because I am that person who it says, don't press the big red button. I'm always going to press it for sure. So let's talk. Oh, right. Okay. Do I need to block someone else? I'm not going to try and block anyone, to be perfectly honest. I'm just going to, but I will, and I don't even know how to do it, to be perfectly honest. So someone might have to walk me through it on the live anyway. So good to see everyone. We have eventually gone live on TikTok, which is good. And we are also live on the other channel as well. But the reality is this is the last Beyond the Buy Box of the year. I know that they've been a bit up and down over the last couple of months because obviously of my daughter's leukemia, and I'm in and out of hospital. And to be perfectly honest, Tuesdays and Thursdays are the days that we are more than likely to be in and out of hospital. So moving forward and in the new year, I'm probably going to change the day from either to make it either a Monday or a Wednesday for Beyond the Buy Box. It's always been on Tuesday, so it's really annoying to be able to have to change it. But if she's going to have an op, it generally is on a Tuesday or a Thursday. So it just makes sense to take myself out of a scenario where I can't do this every single week. So yeah, that's the reality of it. So the likelihood is I'll probably make the announcement at the start of next year. We're probably not going to be back to about for Beyond the Buy Box, we're probably going to be able to not be back. I would imagine that it's either the 7th or the 14th. I haven't quite worked out the dates because, again, my daughter does have a hospital admission on that day anyway as well. So that's what we're looking at. So What is this live about? Yeah, honestly, it's not about my personal life, honestly, as though that's what the first 10 minutes has been about. This live today is going to be about the reality of what it takes to sell on Amazon in 2025. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. And I need to figure this out because I don't want to feel like I'm talking to just you guys. And not you guys. And I've got a really runny nose for some reason. It's just decided to have happened. So 2 secs. Don't know how to mute anything. So you're going to have the full glory of me messing with my nose while I'm sorting this out. I think it's the nerves of being able to go on to TikTok. But that's what today's session's about. We're going to talk about the realities of what it takes and what it's going to take to be able to continue to sell on Amazon in 2025 and beyond, because I think there's been a shift. I don't think it's been a full, sort of shift from one way to another, but we're going through a period at the moment of adaptation on Amazon and evolution. There's no doubt about it. And this is a repetitive cycle. This isn't the first time it's happened, and it's certainly not the last. And the last time this happened, or felt like it was going to happen, was going to be in just before, and I don't know if there's certain words you can say and not say, especially on this one, the pandemic. When that happened, we felt like that we were coming towards this time on Amazon anyway, but that kind of delayed it all. And it's taken me a really sort of long time, not a long time, but it's taken a while to, I think, figure out what is happening on Amazon and what you need to do to be able to take it to the next step or whatever. And I think about a year ago, we knew that this was happening. We started talking about it, and we knew that this shift was moving away from this sort of 7-figure dream, that was being sold through various different channels, through lots of different gurus, who I am a guru. Let's make it absolutely clear. I sell information on this model for money. I never not want to call myself as a guru, because that's exactly what I am. But moving away from trying to build this kind of quit your 9 to 5, sorry, and that's nothing to do with Luke. That's, obviously, quit your 9 to 5 job to be able to leave this to build a 7-figure business that can be outsourced, and you can live your best life living on a beach and doing this, and you can do it all from, the wherever you want to do it. And you absolutely can do it. But the trouble is, the model shifted a lot over the last couple of years, and it's moved away, I think, from that kind of building for a 7-figure business from day one. I think that's the shift. And I was talking to someone this morning. Hi guys, we got Andre. By the way, I'm not ignoring people. Hi Holly and Lewis. Hi Jake. Hi Nubula. Good to see you. Thanks, Jake. Appreciate that, what you said about my daughter. Yeah, just give me any comments as we go through as well. I don't know what's happening with the hearts or anything like that at all. What's supposed to happen. Sorry about the tissue as well. Anyway, so and I think we're sort of moving away from that, and we're moving more towards now. If you are a new beginner, if you're a beginner in this business, anybody that is saying to you, you can do the 7 figures, anyone saying 7 figures in 12 months, can be done. Yes, of course it can. I think you've just got to be really wary of like who you're listening to at the moment, because if people are teaching on the same as what they have been over the last couple of years, I don't think that works anymore. To be perfectly honest, this is my opinion. I don't think that works anymore. I think what it is now, do I think the Amazon business is dead? Absolutely not. I think the opportunity is bigger than ever. That's the truth of it. I really think the opportunity in business is ever. But I think that there was a window of time of about probably 2 years where you really could quit that job in a short period of time, and you could build up to a 7-figure business. Not relatively easy, because nothing's easy about this game, but you could do it and you could take the momentum of sale and carry it through, and you could do it all through a prep center with members of staff and doing this and doing that, because the demand was there, but also there was scarcity in the market, in the resale market, which means, you know, Amazon became the go-to place where people were prepared to pay. So a lot of the price tanking didn't come into place, whereas that's all alleviated. That's all gone now. So what we need to do is just reset, and we need to look at it, and we need to say, okay, maybe if you are starting this business from scratch now, or maybe if you're at a point where you're looking to scale your business from scratch now, if you were looking at it the way that it has been taught over the last few years, that is not the reality of it anymore. There needs to be a few things that go back to basics, because the demand never goes away. That's never any different. The demand never changes. So the reality of it is you've just got to make sure that you are building a business for the current times. And I really do, and this is really going to upset a few people. I think the days of big teams of VAs, prep centers, and all of the different outsourced models that have facilitated this business so well since 2020, I really do think is people have got to start, if you're starting this, but this is if you're starting this business, you got to go back to basics. When I first started this business 8 years ago, we'd been in business for a long time before that, but we had to, you know, we used to stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning packing boxes. You know, we didn't use prep centers. They weren't really a thing. We didn't have VAs. We sourced ourselves. They weren't really a thing. And it was a really good business at that time. I always joke about our minimums used to be, we didn't used to touch a product unless it had £5 minimum profit or 50% ROI. That was the minimum. Imagine that, guys. If you're starting this business now and we would discount something if it had like £3 profit, we'd be like, I ain't staying up 3 o'clock in the morning packing for that. No way. You know, that was the margins of this business. But of course, we didn't have the the overheads. And I was talking about this with someone earlier who's just gone from having a prep center to gone back to self-prepping because they had the opportunity to be able to do it. And their business has flourished. It's absolutely flourished for multiple different reasons, of which I won't go into all of them individually, but little things like just the cash flow. You know, this person was spending thousands every single month on their prep. They're not doing that anymore. So that's cash flow. And it's also extra margin back into the business. All of their costs are fixed now. I don't even know where I'm looking. Sorry, guys. All of their costs are fixed now. So therefore, anything that they scale up, which they can do within their business now, is going to be all profit margin related. So they're going from X amount, let's say, for instance, equal numbers. So if they were at 10% margin last month, next month it's going to be more as their volume increases, because they haven't got that variable cost increasing as well.
The Hive is a group of online sellers. We specialize in Amazon. We're a network, we're a community, and we're all about bringing success to everybody through expert content and resources that you just can't get anywhere else.
The Hive has SOPs, documentation, short videos, clips, long form videos, over the shoulder videos. It has everything you need.
Both for beginners and advanced sellers.
I mean, I probably thought that I knew quite a lot about the selling on Amazon in general, but then when I joined the Hive, it was almost like I only knew 10%.
We keep everything so up to date knowledge, up-to-date strategies.
Natalie, Matt and Johnny will just explain how it works in normal English.
The best part of being in the Hive is a community.
Any question you have, you can put it in the Hive.
And you can get just problem solved so fast.
You can ask a question, there's an answer there within 5 minutes.
We are confident that you are receiving the best level of content out of any training and resource group in the world.
And lots of different other things as well. I hate to say it, Andre, you know this, you know, went in all in their own prep facility from day one, you will know the difference between using a prep center and fulfilling yourself. And I'm not talking about self-fulfilled, merchant fulfilled, seller fulfilled prime. I'm talking the difference of having stock land and having it out the door the same day. And the difference of being the first on the listing before the VA cartels find out about that deal and they jump on it, and you all go from there. And I don't want this to be feel like it's a negative session. It's not. Believe me when I say the opportunity on Amazon is as big as it used to be. So I'd kind of got sucked into this little bit of a way of thinking that actually maybe it is the end of the road for this business. Maybe it is a bit saturated. Maybe there are too many people doing it. Maybe the chips are stacked against us in too many ways to make it out of the arbitrage, the vanilla side. But what I've seen this year is many people take it back to its basic forms, and they are absolutely running. And that's what we've done ourselves as well. You take it back to your basic form of not having huge outgoings and overheads and outsourced in this business. And I think it really is a black and white situation at the moment. Sorry about the sniffs. I think it's a real black and white situation at the moment is if you want that outsourced VA, beach loving, nomading, non-bedroom bandit business, then you're going to have low margins. And if you're cool with that, you got to do high volume, and that's fine. And that's a great business model. And there's a lot of protection in that business model from Amazon. You know, have no bones about it. It's a great model, a lot of protection, lots of account credibility, things like that. And by the way, I'm just talking about vanilla arbitrage at this stage. I'm not talking about anything else, anything extra. But then, or you can do it another way, where you are the business and you're in the business and you're working in the business. You can have it from that point of view, where you have a certain level of fixed cost. You look at a certain amount of profit you want to achieve per day, and you look at your fixed cost per day, and then you scale up and do it from that point of view. And I'm not talking about, obviously, to take it to a next level, you can then start selling in the US if you're UK only, or the EU, or you can start looking at unique bundles, or you can start looking at private label. But hopefully the guys on TikTok will know over my last couple of videos, I think anyone's mad to just start random private label. I think do unique bundles first, you know, get to know how it works. It's that happy medium between arbitrage and private label. So I think that it's kind of, we've gone back to a black and white business. This business is still as cool as it was 8 years ago, and there's still as much profit to be made. It's just we've all fallen into the lazy trap of let's have someone do it all for us, and let's all sit on a beach, which none of us actually sit on a beach, but let's have it all done for us. Let's pay out for the services. Let's pay out of this, because Amazon's one big fat marketing machine. It's as simple as that. And there's so many people, you know, that are in that kind of system, and everyone that owns a prep center and a deal sheet hates me now, because, you know, this is the plan moving forward, to be able to do that. Then as you move into, and that's very much a side hustle mentality. If you are starting the business now, side hustle mentality, right? Then once your business gets to a certain level that you're happy with, then you can move into other areas. And then that might take you into the next level of outsourcing. That might take you to hiring that member of staff. But I think the reality of it is, if you are 0 to 100,000 at the moment, if you are outsourced in any way, with the exception of possibly something like a deal sheet or something like that helps you, then I think you're going to find it really hard in 2025, unless you do something additional like unique bundles. I think you're going to find it really hard to scale this business now, because I think what I said in my video a couple of days ago is you are either trying to build a side hustle on 7-figure learnings, which I don't think works anymore, or you're trying to build a 7-figure business on side hustle mentality. You need to pick which one you're going to go for. And it doesn't mean that once you pick one, you have to stick with that. No, you can adapt and evolve along the way. But for 2025 moving forward, I think you've got to pick a team now. I really do, because I think that the amount of people doing this and the amount of easy, basic level facilitators, prep sheets, prep centers that help take away the skill that is needed for this business, or that used to be needed for this business, for that, I think that you have to be prepared to take that stuff on. So the reality of it is, at the moment, if you're not prepared to prep boxes, if you're not prepared to spend 2 hours sourcing a day, this business might not be for you anymore. It really not, because if you throw yourself in with a prep center and who does all the work for you, hard work for you, fair enough. If you throw yourself in with that and you're relying on everyone else to find your deals that, let's face it, are probably being shared with multiple other people, then where's your individuality? Where's the skill? There's no skill in any of that. And if there's no skill in any of that, that means everyone can do it. And if everyone can do it, I think there's very little chance of big success. Now, I'm not saying if you've come into this and you want to earn an extra 30 quid a day, and that's what you want just to pay for the extras in life, which I think we've got to stop poo-pooing now. We'd kind of all moved away from that. We were like, oh, just be a 7-figure seller and do this and do that. Whereas that's how we all started. Any of us, we all start based on, oh, has my feed cut out? Not sure if it has. Hopefully it's back. That's how we all started. Was, you know, I'm doing this to earn a bit of extra to pay for my car payment, or to pay for my mortgage that's gone up, or to do this or to do that. That's how most people fall into this kind of thing. It's very rare that someone will fall into Amazon FBA and they will sort of say, you know, let's face it, Elon Musk didn't start with an FBA business, did he? You know, if you are that way inclined, you're probably not going to start with this type of business. The majority of us all probably got into this because we looked at something and thought, I want to earn a bit extra. I fancy being my own boss. I don't want to conform to the standards of life anymore. I want to do this. But there are certain vehicles that facilitate a certain way of living. And Amazon fits very nicely in that kind of 4-hour work week, that it does give you the opportunity, but not when there's so many people that can do it at a certain level, if that makes sense. If everybody can do it, then it's not sustainable for long-term success unless you do something different. Hopefully that makes sense. I've just been banging on here, so let me know if it does. I'm going to go to the comments and just see. I'm going to have a look on this one first of all. So David said, I got a warehouse in September, absolutely changed the business, but man, my body is aching. Make sure you get those prep tables up at chest height, or, you know, belly button to chest height, David. You don't want to be bending over. That will cause long-term back problems. But let's face it, chiropractor, physio, all business expensibles now. So make sure you use that. Whatever you're saving on prep, find yourself a good physio to be able to do it. And do you know what? I gave this tip to someone earlier as well, which was, you know, that you can only prep for so long. Poor Matt, when, you know, we used to self-prep back in the day, you know, when we used to do all of our own self-prep, he had like a damaged rotator cuff with his shoulder, and it took him about 2 years to fix it. You get to a certain age, things don't work as well as they used to. So absolutely make sure if you are doing it, you look after your body, and, you know, find yourself a good physio for sure. Yeah, Andre says hire and manage people. Lewis says unique bundles has been so helpful to understand both wholesale and PL and tandem. It is. It's the blurred lines. It's the grey area of private label and arbitrage. Is that happy medium between the both of them. And now that we've had that clarification on the bundle side of things, we are going to be bundling back up, and we are going to be looking, you know, we're going to be looking at getting as many of you guys into unique bundles again. I never felt really, you know, I never felt really, whilst we had this grey area on the bundle side of things, it's not that I stopped talking about it, but I'm not a grey person. You know, I'm kind of a black or white person. So I always want that clarification of, you know, of knowing what we can do. And now we've got that. We're back on the unique bundle train for sure. Not that we ever left it. We didn't. But, you know, it's good to have that clarification of knowing what we can do and what we can do moving forward. Josh said, I didn't know that you can use a chiropractor or physio as a business expense. We'll be using that. I assume you can. If you're lifting boxes and it gives you a bad back, then, I mean, I'm not an accountant. Spoiler alert, or not spoiler alert, disclaimer alert. I'm not an accountant. Please get financial advice and check that. But if I'm lifting boxes and I hurt my back because I'm lifting boxes, then surely I can put that as an expense. I'm not sure. Who knows? Lewis says, I think there's so much marketing and publicity about money making on TikTok. People feel not enough if they're not earning 10k a month. When the reality is the top earners in the UK are highly skilled, don't even make that. Absolutely. And you will never, ever, ever hear me saying that I will ever go in all on Amazon, because I won't. I simply won't. And when you know about something, it's the smart thing to do, to offer a service, create a program, start a group, you know, or something like that. I never get guru bashers. I never get people who sort of say, well, if you could, you know, it's like those who can't teach and can teach, whatever that phrase is, but it's the smart thing to do. You know, I've been in business now for a long period of time. And the reason I've been in business for a long period of time is because I haven't put my eggs in one basket. It's as simple as that. And I never would do. I've done it previously and I've almost lost everything. I've got down to my last, whether I can pay my mortgage payment, because I've done that previously. I'm never going to do that again. So there's never, ever going to be any type of, you know, I don't get it. I just don't get people. I think the only people that kind of poo-poo it are the people that can't do it themselves. And if you can't do it yourself, shut up. You know, that's the kind of the way I see it a little bit. But yeah, this, Lewis, honestly, I am going, sorry, I don't know if it's Lewis or Louis. Sorry. We'll just confirm that. I'm very much, I've got off the 7-figure kind of train for a really long time, for the last few years, because I knew that this is the way I knew it was kind of coming back, that we have to move back almost into a side hustle mentality now. So this is what I said, be wary of anyone like talking about the Lambos and doing this and doing that, because I really do think, you know, we're coming out of that, and we're coming out of the prep center. Sorry, I don't know how to turn my notifications off. I keep getting, oh, I know. Hang on. Let me put focus on. Yeah, I think we're moving away from that now. And you know, if you're going to talk about this, I think that's what I'm saying. If you're not prepared to pack a box, if you're not prepared to do this, if you're not prepared to source a deal, this might not be the business for you right now. That's the reality of it. So yeah, and it's all scalable. Louis, thanks, Louis. Okay, I appreciate that. I know someone with the other pronunciation, so that's why I was just conscious of that. Thanks. I'll probably say it wrong, so just correct me if I do again in the future. Nadine said, this is all really resonating with me today. I'm trying to scale and ready to develop into unique bundles. Yeah, absolutely. And we can do it all. By the way, I'm not saying the 7-figure is not attainable. It totally is. But if you're trying to build it in the wrong way, you're never going to get there. And I think that's why we need to go back to basics a little bit. And I think that's the reality of 2025. The business is not dead. Amazon is not dead. It's simply not dead. But there's too many people that now know how to do this business in the most basic way. And if that is the case, you need to now take away. You can do exactly the same as them, but let the basic people pay the prep fees. Let them, you know, cover and wrap themselves up in so many expenses they don't make any profit. because if you don't make any profit in this business, you can't scale it. It's as simple as that. So, yeah. I'm going to look at some comments on here. You guys, like, on the TikTok, like, really comment. So sorry, I'm not used to that. I'm used to just listening to the sound of my own voice, really. I need a plan to move in a different direction. That's what we're going to build. That's what it is, you know, and that's what the learning is going to be about moving forward, is having that clear plan to be able to follow. And you can work alongside it. And of course, you don't have to like follow it exactly. You can do whatever you want to do. But, you know, having it as a foundational, and just having, I think, someone saying to you, do you know what? If you sell 4 items today, it's all right, as long as you don't give up. You know, that's the most important thing. And a bit like what Louis said there as well, there's a big snobbery in Amazon that if you're not doing this, then it's not worth it. Or I'll tell you a quick story and then I'll read the comments about when I was doing unique bundles well before anyone else was doing them. And this was before I even started teaching them. We had a couple of different Amazon accounts, and one in which we sold unique bundles, just unique bundles. And this was at a time, if you didn't have like 300 SKUs in your arbitrage business, people just assumed it was shit and you weren't spent. Oh, I don't even know if I can say that on that live. That you weren't doing very well at all. Anyway, so this one guy, he was horrible. This one guy that ran another group, he was really horrible. Like, you think the groups and everything, they're so much nicer now than they were like 8 years ago. There was some real like snake pit kind of groups. Everyone's a lot nicer now. And there was a guy that ran a group and there was another guy that was in the group, and these two, you know, they were a right pair, to be perfectly honest. Right pair of, I'll let you work out what type of pair they were, but yeah, they were a pair of B ends. If I don't even know if I can say that. Anyway, they were really nasty, and they were nasty about everyone. They were so snobby about if you didn't do this or you didn't do that. Anyway, and when the first course I ever sold in Secret Wealth Project had unique bundles in it, because that's what we were doing, and we were doing really well with it. And this guy who knew what my account was, we had about 190 SKUs, 90 to 100 SKUs, and they were all unique bundles, right? They're all unique bundles in this group. And he put this post out saying, I wouldn't listen to her. She's only got 90 listings. She's only got this, she's only got that. So how can she be possibly doing any good? Or, you know, why on earth would you buy a course off of her? Why would you do this? But what the BN didn't know, obviously, because there was not a lot of people doing it at this time, they were all bundles unique to me, as in they were all my own listings. So yes, there was a huge amount of listings that were reduced compared to the average arbitrage seller, but they were all mine. So I had control all of those listings. And you know, he made himself look a bit of a twat. Now that thanks Louis for confirming, now I know I can swear. He looked a bit of a twat because obviously my account was doing way more than what the 90 listings would indicate, because obviously they were all mine own controlled listings. So there has always been a certain amount of snobbery on Amazon that if you're not doing this, then you're not successful, or you're not worthy of this, or if you're not a 7-figure seller, you're not this, you haven't achieved this. I talked about this extensively over the years. Some of the most successful people I know on Amazon are not 7-figure sellers because they have high margins within their business. And, you know, they're not running on a 2% margin and living off their Avios points. You know, that's the truth of it. And they live at home with their mum a lot of the time, and they travel the world on their Avios points. And then at Christmas, they go home to the spare bedroom. You know, you don't have to do big numbers on Amazon to have big success. And I think, you know, that's what we need to get back into, understanding that that's the way of it. And we've all got, even me, I've been sucked up into it, you know, of this kind of 7-figure, you know, you've got to have this, you've got to achieve that. But actually, there's nothing wrong with earning an extra 30 quid a day and building on that and just slowly compounding. You don't need to do it within a certain time frame. You don't need to do it within a certain thing. As long as you've got a plan, you know what that plan is. Right, back to comments. Sorry, guys. Hi, Econkins. Good to see you, Scott. We've got Wahid. Good to see you as well. Ghost companies. Well, most people have reduced the amount they're selling due to lack of funding. 100%. That's the biggest thing that we've seen. I've seen that's the biggest thing we've seen this year. Most people reducing because all the funding's been withdrawn and nobody can afford to pay, you know, the higher interest rates. If interest rates go down, it might change again. You know, when borrowing becomes cheap, 7-figure selling might become more sexy, you know, than it was, to be honest. Yeah, I completely agree, Scott. The harder things are to work out, the higher the barrier to entry and the easier it is to make more. This is exactly what I'm trying to say. It really is, honestly, that's the key. I couldn't have worded it better myself. You need to level up on the barriers, but you don't need to at the start. So what I'm saying is, if you are starting this day one and someone says to me, what's the best way to start? Arbitrage. Simple as that. Learn the business, learn the ropes, pack the boxes, find the deals, source the deals, know what to do, scale up from there, and you can layer in the extra marginal stuff. Then you can add a prep center if you so choose. I'm not saying prep centers and deal sheets are wrong. I'm just saying what you need to do is you need to stop thinking that this is an easy business, because it's not. And if you're not prepared to work in it, it's not the business for you. It's as simple as that. So if you don't want to prep a box, if you don't want to find a deal, then, and you're starting out, this might not be the business for you. And you might have stumbled on a video from 2 years ago that says you can get a prep center. And you will see prep centers now. The prep centers, they're starting groups, they're making communities, and they're doing this because they know there's been a shift. So they're going to say, right, we'll show you how to do this. You use our prep center. Whereas the reality of it is the prep center model is becoming, from day one, you know, that was the thing to do in COVID. It's not the thing to do anymore. We need to go back to basics, and you can scale up again from there and then go back on the prep center route for sure. The Avios seller who sleeps in the spare bedroom. It's so true. It's so true. And you know what? You'll be amazed. And it's not until you've been around the block a few times that you realize this, that you'll be amazed how many people have stopped selling beginner courses on Amazon now because it's not as easy. One, since the VAT on fees has gone. So there was a few biggies that left the space in August when, you know, they coincidentally stopped selling Amazon courses at that time. But it's easy being a beginner course seller as a guru, and it's harder being an advanced Amazon seller guru because, and I'll tell you the reason why. I'm going to my full Gavin and Stacey mode. The reason why is because I could show someone tomorrow how to sell on Amazon and they would get a sale within 2 weeks. And that dopamine fix for that person that has got the sale within 2 weeks, they're going to love me forever because they can't, you know, they've given you that kind of buzz and they're always going to remember that. So that's one reason why beginner courses, you know, people stay in them for, you know, a really long time, and don't move into the advanced stuff because you always got a constant churn of those new people coming in. It's as simple as that. But what often happens is that person that's made that sale, what will happen is for a period of 6 months, this business feels really good. And it feels like, okay, yeah, I can really do this because you don't have a lot amount of SKUs to manage. There's not a lot of risk building up. You don't have to borrow anything. Hopefully you don't in that period of time. So it's all kind of good and it's a bit rosy and it's easy to scale. Don't confuse that with this is an easy business. It's not. It's easy to scale. This business. And so therefore, if you are selling your 0 to 100K kind of course, people can get there and, you know, you can churn those babies out and you can have lots of success doing it. The hardest part is when people want to push through that VAT barrier. They want to go beyond that. essentially. And that's where I've been for a really long time. That's where I teach people, you know, to that's what we do in the hive essentially. And it's not for everyone, to be perfectly honest, because with the greatest of respect, anybody can sign up to Amazon and make a sale within a month. Anybody, right? Your percentages and your margins reduce dramatically. So if I have 10 people joining the hive, so this is the maths of it. If I have 10 people on a beginner's course, I will still have 9 people on that beginner's course, probably 6 at the end of 6 months. If I have 10 people join the hive at that higher level where the margins, and it's harder to get what you want to achieve for multiple different reasons, then at the end of the 6 months, I might have 4 people, maybe even less, maybe 2, 80-20 rule, something like that. So there's a lot more risk in teaching the high-end stuff, and it doesn't get talked about as much because there's less success. It's as simple as that. I talk about it. It's not going to work out for everyone. It's really not, for, you know, various different, and not for one specific reason either. So, but taking it back, the beginners now, I even believe now, that needs to be sold in a different way. You know, that needs to be looked at in a different way now, because that doesn't work anymore. It's as simple as that. Louis says, to be fair, no better feeling than your first sale. Even now, when we hit records days, it's not close to how happy we were with our first sale. Exactly. It becomes, and of course, when you sell on Amazon, money becomes very arbitrary, you know, kind of figures. People are spending 2, 3, 4, 5,000 a day. I hate to say it, but, you know, when I watch something like Deal or No Deal, I love my quiz shows on TV. If I watch something like that and someone accepts a deal for like 3 grand, I'm like, you've been there for 28 days. You accept a deal for 3 grand. I wouldn't be happy with that. It's because money becomes like almost this imaginary, you know, sort of figure on Amazon. It becomes like monopoly money. It always does. And that's the danger of it, for sure. Hi, Chippo. Good to see you. Beginners have no idea what their numbers are. They think they're making profit until they do the first return. Absolutely know your numbers. It's as simple as that. But as a caveat to that, I will actually also say, I think you can be too granular sometimes with this business. And at ClickFox, which is, you know, the PPC agency that Hayden and I run, is what's really interesting is, depending on what type of business model you have, sometimes you can know your figures a bit too much, and you can get a bit too granular when it comes to working out certain things, and it's finding the balance between the two. But you're absolutely right, Chippo. You know, you have to have a basic understanding of what those numbers were. Chippo, you've been doing this a long time, so you'll know with me as well. Like STK, Sellerboard, again, they just didn't really exist. No one knew their numbers. Everyone just thought, oh, okay, I've sold £500 today. I've got 20% ROI, so I've made X amount of profit. That's how literally people worked at it. And then when Sellerboard came out, it was like a real wet Wednesday for people, because like they were like, what? Oh, I wasn't taking into account this, wasn't taking into account that. And then obviously you had STK come out, which obviously again went into it in a slightly more detail. But this is a business that can take you a really long way without realizing you're making any money. So definitely you do need to know your figures for sure. Am I still live on TikTok? I think I am. You guys have sort of stopped commenting. I don't know if that's that. I don't know what any of this means, but hopefully I'm still live and still going. Sorry about the tissue. But that's the reality of it, guys. You know, I really do think that still live. Thanks. Appreciate it. That's the reality of Amazon in 2025. What do you guys think? Am I being too extreme? Do you think I'm being too Debbie Downer on it? I don't think I am. I think I'm being realistic in terms of what it's going to take to be able to scale up the business moving forward. And I have done this from more of a zero if you're starting from the beginning. but nothing's too late. Even if you've, like Scott said earlier, a lot of businesses, and we did a live event. This group did a live event at the start of this year, and the message was quite clear at that live event for anyone that attended. And Scott, I know you were there, so you will remember this, hopefully. We very much talked about that this business, we didn't think anyone was going to see massive gains this year. It was going to be a case of, and this is what all big businesses done this year. They've looked at what they're doing and they've not focusing on the growth, but they're focusing on their bottom line, and they're focusing on how they can reduce risk, how they can mitigate risk, how they can, improve the bottom line in their business. And that's what this year has been about. And I think that's what next year is going to continue to be about for anybody that's doing it. Think of that example that I said earlier, the chap that I was speaking about, that was very much so what I suppose in the grand scale of things I'm trying to say is, if you at any point in this business came on board and you are in the Amazon seller machine, which is interestingly enough what the most popular course on Amazon used to be called, Amazon seller selling machine. If you have been caught in the Amazon selling machine, prep, VA, purchasing manager, live your best life, do nothing, go and live in Thailand, blah, 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 blah. If you've been caught up in that in the last couple of years, I don't think that's sustainable moving forward unless you find something new. And even the guys that have found something new over the last couple of years, again, it's been made more accessible. So therefore the margins have been driven down on that. That's what I'm talking about selling in the US. Anybody that kind of ditched their UK businesses and flew over the pond and put everything into their US businesses, have found that even they're struggling a little bit now because it's been made more accessible, it's been made easier. So therefore, all of these models will always have like a certain ceiling. And then when they do, you need to find that next thing. And you don't need to constantly be changing your business time and time again. But I think you need to be doing enough to be able to sort of say, right, this was working at this rate. I now can no longer have 6 members of staff and a prep center. If I want to keep that up, the demand's still there, the sales are still there, but my margin's gone down. So I need to work on my streamlining a little bit. How can I make my business more profitable? And then at the same time, you want to be able to look for new opportunity for the stuff that you can start to layer into your business. So 0 to 100,000 on Amazon arbitrage, 100 to 250,000 unique bundles, 250,000 to 500,000 unique bundles, possibly another marketplace, 500 to $1 million, all of the below at more volume. That's the plan. Why has said, is it still worth starting? Hopefully that coincides with what I just said. Yes, absolutely. The opportunity now is bigger than ever if you proceed with, and I'm not going to use the word right plan because everybody's individual, but you proceed with a plan and not trying to build a business on what worked 2 years ago. Don't work anymore. I think that's the most important thing to understand, is you've just got to, and it's not easy anymore. That's the most important thing. So what worked 2 years ago don't work anymore, and it's not as easy. So if you still want to start on that basis and that understanding, the opportunity is still there. Absolutely, for sure. FBA today says it's nice to listen in whilst working. Cool. Good to have you here. Thank you. Hi, David. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hopefully see you on the Hive a bit later. Like I said, specific product, anything and everything. Start with arbitrage. That is the best way to start. And it's that's the best way to start anything and everything. So top categories on Amazon: health and personal, grocery, beauty, toys and games, garden. But think about the season, think about the time of year. Don't be sourcing loads of advent calendars right now. That's been and gone. Grocery is one of the easier ones to start in, but at the same time, very small margins, unless you're creating your own listings or you have some sort of exclusive distribution or something like that. No, definitely not wholesale. Definitely not. And I didn't actually add wholesale into the mix. So wholesale is something you can scale with as well. So no, start if you can. If someone said to me right now, I've got a bit of time on my hands, got a little bit of cash to start, what's the best way to start? I would still always say retail arbitrage. That hybrid retail arbitrage model where you do a bit of research online, you go into the places that are not as accessible to be able to find goods on the delivery circuit. So I'm talking your Boots and people like that, and people might laugh at me and say, oh, she's talking about Boots. Yeah, I'm talking about Boots. I know people that do a pretty penny retail arbitrage because that's what they want to do with their business, because they're happy doing it, where their job is like supermarket sweeping. They just go on in, they fill up their trolleys, they self-scan. Couldn't do that back in the day when I first started. You had an interrogation from Terry on security about why you were buying 40 packs of Dove shower gel. You know, you don't even need to do that anymore. Test the market, see what works for you, get that dopamine fix, fall in love with Amazon and see the power of Amazon and how it can work for you. You just got to kiss a load of frogs and see what works for you. But you can't really, famous last words, you can't really get burned doing that on retail arbitrage, going in, finding a few little replens that you can't get on delivery. And, you know, you can make £3, £4, £5 profit each time. If you're willing to go up and, you know, basically go around all the Boots in the area and take up all the stock, then, you know, I think that's a really good way to do it, to be honest. That's the way that I see it anyway. Chippo says, I find it really silly when people are aghast that a big seller has changed their strategy. It's the only way to survive. Absolutely, for sure. I love it when people say that. It's like, why wouldn't you? You just need to adapt, and you've constantly got to be able to do this. I'm not going to be doing this in 3 years. I'll be doing something different. It's as simple as that. But what I do know is I'll still be selling on Amazon, providing Amazon still allow me to sell on Amazon. Yes, you can sell foreign products on the UK like you can in the US. There are restrictions and things like that in place that, you know, it's not plain sailing as you can sell anything and everything. There are always going to be restrictions. So, but just be aware of that. And it's your common sensey sort of stuff. If you want to avoid anything, you know, restrictive, then from a legislation point of view, then always think about your topicals and consumables. So anything that can be ingested, anything that can be applied topically, anything that can be, I'm going to regret saying this, inserted. Those are always going to be your big trouble problems, you know, in big trouble products that could potentially, you know, that you might have to get declarations of conformity or safety checks or certificates on, or things like that. Louis says, I had an interesting chat with a fairly big seller the other day. He suggested that due to Amazon UK being such a small market compared to the other country markets, he didn't think the bundle policy would change here. And I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Yeah, that's possible. It's definitely possible. But my argument to that, which we talk about in the Hive, is the reason why I don't think that will be the case is because it leaves Amazon open to interpretation and not enforceable. So if you go on search bundle policy on Amazon UK at the moment, there isn't one. So there is zero bundle policy on there. So do you, and this is my thoughts, my own thoughts, and I'd love to hear people's thoughts on this. Do we really, in this day and age, knowing what we know about Amazon, believe that they leave themselves open to not having a policy where there are hundreds of thousands of products listed in that way, not only from a customer point of view, but from a seller integrity point of view? Do we really believe that Amazon is just going to openly leave themselves open to that? because they can't enforce anything. And if somebody was to sue them and they got suspended or deactivated or, you know, had their business taken away, and I was to take them to court and I was to say, and they would say, oh, we did it because of this. Well, there's no policy. So how is that enforceable? And Amazon don't leave themselves open to anything. I must admit, they've left themselves open longer than I thought they were. But at the same time, I was also a person that thought they couldn't balls up the EFN Brexit kind of thing, and they did. So Amazon's always, you know, it's always a surprise, to be perfectly honest. I just really don't think they will leave themselves open long term. I think what you will possibly see at some point, maybe in Q1, if they're just going to be proper lazy with it, I think what you'll probably see is them maybe linking to it and saying it's a global selling, you know, rule or something like that. So that's possibly, but I think it's a bit irresponsible to say that. But yeah, I don't think it, I personally, I do think it will come in, and I don't think it will be as harsh as the US. But the way that I see it, and we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago when the updates happened, the updates for me were not as bad as I thought they were going to be. So, you know, from that point of view, I'm already happy. So, and why I feel confident that we can proceed with what we do in the hive. So yeah, I feel quite confident about that. Right. It's been an hour, guys. Can you believe it? Time does fly when you're having fun talking about bedroom bandits and bundles. And like I said, this is the last one of the year. I might do a few little sneaky TikToks, you know, because I'm a proper TikTok guru now. I have made one in my car. I have made a TikTok video in my car, but I've not gone live in my car. So that's on the TikTok guru bucket list, to be able to do that. I don't even know if you can do it with Signal, but I might do that at some point over the festive period. But it's good to know this is working now, which I'm really pleased about. And I'm going to find a better setup, because I think this is what I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to incorporate Beyond the Buy Box with you TikTok crew as well, and we can go live and we can link it all up and we can kind of make it work. So I'm really pleased. And big shout out to Matt, my husband. He fixed the live. I'm not going to say it was a user error. I shall leave that up to you to decide. But anyone that knows me knows technology is not my big thing. I'm good at creating listings and doing creative stuff. But yeah, technology and actually making things work from that point of view, maybe not the best for me. Just quickly, Louis said, top tip on the boots, source very early on Tuesday, £10 Tuesday, lots of money up for grabs. I completely agree for sure. It is absolutely, you just gotta, and that's the thing. That's a perfect example of what I've just said. It's that little bit harder. The barrier to entry is just that little bit higher. So therefore, people aren't prepared to do it. And you're going to find a bit more success there. But I'm sorry, guys. The days of rocking into Tesco's, if anyone saw my video earlier in the week, picking up a bottle, looking at the back of the bottle, but just, you know, sort of random shit is just not going to work. You need a plan, for sure. I'll answer this one. Yeah, you can't order bulk from Boots. The golden rule was always multiples of 6, and if you can get away with 12, then you're living your best life. So we was talking about from a retail arbitrage point of view, and target all the ones that have got the self scanners. But this is what I mean, it's just that little bit harder. So therefore, you know, not everyone can order from Boots. So if you can find a way to order from Boots and do it, there's lots of very profitable products to be had, and lots of replan products to be had from that, for sure. Can you list a product that has no listings on Amazon? Sorry, do you mean can you list a product that's not already listed on Amazon? So yes, No, not easily. Not now. If you are not the brand owner, it's very hard to list a product that does not exist on Amazon without the brand owner's permission. And when we talk about brand owner, we talk about brand owner is not necessarily the manufacturer, it's the person that owns the IP of that product. So that is the person that you need to get permission from to list that product. So it's very, very hard to list a product without the property owners, brand owners permission nowadays. Unfortunately, you used to be able to do it, and I wish that they would bring it back, but no, that's something that they haven't allowed for. We heard rumors that they were going to be doing something to fix that, but as to yet, we've not seen that materialize. But of course, we will keep you updated if it does, for sure. I agree, Lou. Honestly, you don't need to look as deep as you think to be ahead of the curve. Exactly. You just need to be one step ahead. And I say this to my Hivians, that sometimes you just need to be 1 or 2 steps ahead. That's really all what it is, for sure. And all the fancy Nancy's, you know, with all of their, you need to do this and you need to do that. Actually, no, you don't. I think sometimes you just need to go back to basics, for sure. I know, Marion. Everyone's, you know, unless you've been in Boots jail, you've never lived on Amazon, that's for sure. Lost, what was it? How much did I lost about 300 quid in Boots Advantage points as well that I'd earmarked a couple of Christmases ago for some very nice presents for me. I always spend my benefits on me, you know, and I didn't spend them quick enough and they took me away. So, yeah. Spend those points as you get them. Don't let them build up. Points, cash back, yada, yada, yada. That's all a bonus, for sure. Yeah, Boots jail. I know. But you can get out of Boots jail if you take yourself down to Boots and start self-scanning. How many people are prepared to do that? I know a few, and they do very well. That for sure. Yeah, it'd be great to see you guys in there, Louis. It'd be great to see you in the hive. But yeah, to be honest, we are actually, tonight's the last session of the year in the hive. Obviously, there's content and things like that to keep you going. But the new bundle content is not actually going to be landing until after New Year anyway, as well. I'm afraid, you know, it took a bit too long for Amazon to pull their finger out and tell us what was actually happening. And the reality of my daughter's appointments and this time of year, it just wasn't feasible to get it launched before then. So that is going to be New Year, new bundle me. You know, training. So it's probably going to work at the right time for sure. Right. Well, I don't even know how I'm going to end this live. I'm assuming I pressed some sort of button. So I'm probably going to, lots of buttons and whatnot for me to press. So I'm going to wish everyone, we're going to be back probably at some time. I can't say because my daughter's got a hospital admission, I think 1st or 2nd week of January. We'll either be back with Beyond the Buy Box, but I'll let you know in the group, obviously, and on here as well. We'll be back probably on the 7th or the 14th, something like that. And then we will be in full New Year, New Me mode for 2025. And we will be building on what I've spoken about today. So it's very much going to be a case of supporting people through this, you know, sort of transition period on Amazon. And if you're paying for any type of service or something, and anyone's saying nothing's changed, everything's good whilst rocking in the corner, I promise you they're not the person to be listening to. I'm a really big believer in listening to multiple people and not just listening to one person. But there's a difference between listening to someone that's, you know, probably doing things that were being done a couple of years ago that, you know, we all need to move on and we need to adapt and evolve. And it's been coming for a really long time. I think we've just hit the edge of it now for sure. So thanks, Louis. I really appreciate that. And it's good to see everyone. I hope everyone has a wonderful Christmas. I really am a believer in this is a time of year, the one time of year we work hard. We're not down the mines, I know that, but we do work hard, you know, throughout the year. And it's a good time to really evaluate what's happened in the year, spend time with your friends, family, loved ones, and reflect on the year that's been to put yourself in the best position to be able to move forward in 2025. So I encourage everybody to do that as much as possible. Live life, spend time with your family, spend time with your, well, if you like your family, spend time with your friends, enjoy yourself, and, you know, celebrate the year that has been, knowing that, you know, it's going to be a good year to be able to build, you know, whatever you've built this year moving forward, for sure. So good to see everyone. I'll see you in the new year. Wishing everything, you know, you get everything you want for the new year. And yeah, see you then. I've got to figure out how to switch this thing off, so this could be quite funny to watch. Happy holidays, everyone. No boots in Czech Republic. Oh, sorry about that, Marion. See you later, guys. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. See you in the new year.